Welcome back to Grow Joyfully Home and Garden. Today I am multitasking, and as you can see right here, I've got some cranberries on the back of the stove, but I'm not making cranberry sauce for Thanksgiving tomorrow. We've had a lot of colds here, and I'm trying to get ahead of it. And what I'm making is elderberry, cranberry, orange, and ginger syrup. So what I'm doing is I'm simmering down the elderberries. I added a full orange sliced up. I have 2 bags of cranberries in there, and right now you can hear them start popping. This is the part I like the best. I'd like to cook cranberries just to hear them pop. But I'm also making goulash to put in the crock pot for dinner tonight. And the main reason I'm making this video is because I wanted to share making Aunt Iris's shortbread cookie recipe with you. Now this is a great aunt of my brother-in-law, and this recipe has been in our family practically since my sister and brother-in-law got married, and that was 48 years ago. So it's a lovely, trusted family recipe. It's not difficult at all, and I really wanted to share it with you. I'm also toasting almonds in the oven so I can make some candied almonds. Yes, multitasking. So hopefully I can keep it all straight. How is your day going? How are your preparations for Thanksgiving doing? I hope they're doing great. I need you to listen to when the cranberries pop. And I'll turn down the goulash. First of all, I'm starting, and I've shared this recipe with you before, I'm starting with a pound of hamburger that I'm browning and about half a cup of chopped up onions. And we're just going to cook that for a little while. So I'm probably going to be sharing about 3 recipes with you. Hopefully I will get them in their entirety. So let's get started. So this one is the elderberry, cranberry, and I forgot to mention black raspberry, orange, ginger syrup. That is for everyday use, and especially when you have a cold, to build up your resistance. So that's probably all I will focus on this recipe. I just throw things together. I had a pint of dried elderberries, 2 bags of cranberries, 1 full orange, and I chopped up a lemon and put in there, and 1 small piece of ginger, about 3 inches long, and then I put the package of black raspberries or black caps in there. I also put a little sprinkle of cinnamon. Now, I don't know about you, but I do not like the taste of elderberries. I never had it as a child growing up. I only recently had it as an adult, and I don't like the taste of it. So that's why I'm throwing all this stuff in. Not only are the cranberries, orange, ginger, and everything else so good for you, lots of vitamin C and antioxidants and you name it, but it's there to help disguise the taste of the elderberries. So I'm just trying to stir this and reduce it. I'm hoping to reduce it by at least half because I want to make a syrup. And I'm going to add honey when it's all done and almost cool. I'll just have it warm because we don't want to kill any of the good properties of the honey. Do you see it popping? You hear it popping? For some reason, I think that's really cool. My family prefers the jellied cranberry sauce, and I haven't attempted to make it this year. I'm just going to buy a can and give myself the gift of simplicity and not having to make it up. But I am putting this in here, and it's easy because all you have to do is stir it. Keep it on low, stir it, and reduce it. Because eventually we're going to strain it, and when it's just barely warm, we're going to add honey and make a syrup out of it. You can buy glycerin and use glycerin for that, but I would prefer to use honey because it has its own health benefits too. So here we go, popping, popping, popping. Over here, I'm making goulash. It is a rib-sticking, comforting, warming, delicious recipe to make. It's not difficult. I think it probably started back in the day when people took what they had left over and put it in a big pot and made a very hearty, filling, wonderful soup, stew type thing. So we're browning the hamburger right now and the onions. And then I'll start gathering all the other ingredients. Meanwhile, I am going to stir the nuts in the oven and gather the ingredients for the shortbread cookies. Before I forget, I wanted to show you what I've made up, and I do it quite frequently, except not with the elderberry syrup. I take a quart jar. It's better if you use the largemouth, but that's what I had near, so I grabbed it. And I sliced up 3 lemons. I didn't have any fresh ginger, so I had some freeze-dried ginger. I don't like that as well because you have to strain it out. I'm sure I should have soaked the freeze-dried ginger in hot water first, but I was flying by the seat of my pants. It was late last night and I was hurrying. So this has 3 sliced lemons, about 2 tablespoons of freeze-dried ginger, and honey, and you layer that. And then you just shake it really well, and you can keep adding honey and lemon for quite a while. And then when it feels like the lemons are no longer good, you just discard that and start again. But I also put some of this syrup in it too, and that's what's giving it its beautiful color. So last night I felt like a cold was coming on, wasn't feeling that great. So I had some hibiscus and raspberry leaf tea, and I had quite a bit of this. I also took a tablespoon of the Sambuco elderberry syrup. I was hitting this with everything I had because all my little grandkids have colds. And to ward off colds and to build up our resistance, I really wanted to hit the elderberry, cranberry, lemon, orange, ginger, everything you could think of. So today I'm feeling quite a bit better. Hopefully that will stay that way. I have the almonds finished toasting, so I'm going to take them out and let them cool. Okay, I have all the ingredients gathered for the goulash, and I'm just going to put them in quickly. I'll put the recipe up on the screen if you'd like to make it yourself. So quickly, I'm putting a quart of homemade tomato sauce in the hamburger. And then I'm using 2 pint jars of diced tomatoes that I put up. And 3 cups of beef broth. And then I have a tablespoon, actually it's a heaping tablespoon of garlic because I love garlic. Put that in. And here's all the seasonings, which I will put up on the screen. It's got salt, sugar, paprika, Lowry seasoning salt, garlic powder, onion powder. And then 3 tablespoons of Worcester sauce. And then this seasoning is Italian seasoning and a bay leaf. So that is all in, and the last thing, second to the last thing that you put in is 2 cups of ditalini noodles. Okay, you're going to stir and simmer that for at least 15 minutes to 20 minutes. Let it all get in there, incorporate, get the ditalini all cooked. And the last thing that you will put in this recipe is a cup of cheese once the bay leaves are out and the goulash has thickened. Then that's the last thing you put in, and that's ready. So that's another recipe done. I did take out the almonds. They're cooling on the table. I think we still need to get to the main recipe. Okay, it's time to make Aunt Iris's shortbread. And what I did was I took out a pound of butter. Yes, a pound of butter. And before you freak out, animal fat like butter and beef tallow, lard, and all that is so much more healthy for you than any manufactured margarine or shortening. So let me put that plug in. So you put a pound of butter in the mixer, and we're going to whip that for at least 3 minutes. I have the butter all nice and soft, setting at room temperature. And if you don't remember to get it out in time, you just put it in the microwave for a little while. Now I've put on my whisk attachment, and we'll raise up the bowl, and we're going to whip that. Time to get the other ingredients together. Okay, so I whipped that butter on a fairly high speed for 3 minutes, and I scraped down the sides one time during that 3 minutes. Now the only 3 other ingredients that it calls for are 3 cups of flour, half a cup of cornstarch, and a cup of icing sugar, powdered sugar, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to add a little of each of these, a little bit at a time. So I'm going to add some flour by tablespoonful, and we'll probably break it up into 3 different increments. Now about 1/3 of the cornstarch and 1/3 of the powdered sugar. Now we're going to put the bowl up and mix this a lot slower. Okay, I scraped down the sides, and now I'm going to add another 1/3 of the flour. This is where it gets super messy, but that's why we clean up. Okay, there's 1/3 of the flour, about 1/3 of the cornstarch, and 1/3 of the powdered sugar. Get that mixed up again. I always like to start off slow, on the slowest speed I can, when I'm mixing up something like flour, cornstarch, powdered sugar, because it goes everywhere. Okay, that is fairly well incorporated. Now I'm just going to add the rest of the flour, the rest of the cornstarch, and the rest of the powdered sugar. Put the bowl back up, and we'll mix it slowly to start with. This would be a good time to add any flavoring you wanted, either vanilla, orange extract, or lemon extract, or even lemon zest and fresh lemon juice. But you'd have to add another tablespoon of flour if you add a tablespoon of fresh squeezed lemon juice. Scrape down the sides again. I don't know about you, but this particular mixer, it's a KitchenAid, a lot of the stuff is always left on the very bottom. So I have to be very careful and scrape the bottom. I didn't have to do this with my other KitchenAid, but I do with this one. I'm going to take the bowl down and really stir it well on the bottom. Okay, one more mixing. Okay, I've made a lovely mess, but that's all right. Let's take the bowl down and check the consistency. That's quite thin, quite smooth. My goal here is to be able to pipe it out. And if you're not very careful and you don't have the right consistency, you can break the tube of your cookie press. This is a little questionable. I could put vanilla in it, or I could put lemon juice in it. I think I might just put some vanilla in it. I put a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla in there, and now I'm going to load the cookie press. Okay, I'm scraping the sides of the bowl and making sure that it's all mixed up on the bottom. Okay, so I have the electric cookie press loaded. This is probably 44 years old. I was living in Canada at the time we got this because there's French on it. But it's been a really good friend to me, and the barrel, as you can see, is starting to wear down. I don't know if I can replace the barrel, but I'm going to look because it's a really great cookie press. It's kind of noisy, and I am not good at this at all. I just do it. I could never make cookies professionally, although the cookies I make taste good. I'm just not that good at making perfect looking little cookies. And you can use different shapes from this cookie press. That's what I like about its versatility. All these different little shape makers here. There's a star, a gingerbread man, a dog, all sorts of shapes. This is all it made in one load, and it is a pain in the neck reloading it. But it makes pretty cookies, so I continue to use it. Time to put these cookies in the oven. I'm going to try these at 350 for about 10 minutes. I'm short on time today, like usual, so I just made some balls and I flattened them and I used a fork to make some shapes. They're looking pretty good. There you go, beautiful soft butter cookies. Thanks for stopping by today. Happy Thanksgiving from our house to yours. And we'll see you on the next video.